Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pocket English Podcast. I am Sarah.
And I am Mark. We are so happy you have found a few minutes in your busy day to join us. Today, we have a very special episode planned for you because we are going to talk about a problem that almost every single English learner faces. It is a problem that can feel very frustrating, but I promise you, there is a solution. Let me ask you a question. Does this sound like you? You are watching a movie in English, or maybe you are listening to a story, just like the ones we tell here on the podcast. You feel good. You understand the characters. You know it is happening. You might even laugh at the jokes. You feel like your English is strong. But then the situation changes. You meet a native speaker, or maybe a colleague asks you a question in a meeting. Suddenly, your mind goes blank. Your heart starts beating fast. You know the words, but you cannot get them out of your mouth. You feel like your brain has frozen.
If that sounds familiar, I want you to know that you are not alone. This is the most common pain for learners at the A2 and B1 levels. It is the gap between understanding and speaking. You might think the problem is that you do not know enough vocabulary. You might think you need to study more grammar rules. But actually, the problem is usually something else entirely. It is something we call the translation trap.
That is exactly right, Sarah. The translation trap is what happens when you try to treat English like a math problem. When a native speaker talks to you, your brain starts working very hard. First, you listen to their English words. Then, you translate those words into your native language to understand the meaning. Then, you formulate your answer in your native language. And finally, you try to translate your answer back into English, word by word, before you speak.
This is a very complicated process. It is like your brain is a computer that is trying to run too many programs at the same time. The computer overheats and it freezes. That is why you pause. That is why you say and ah. You are trying to build every sentence from scratch, like you are building a car from thousands of little parts every time you want to drive to the supermarket. It is too slow. So how do we fix this? The secret is to stop building the car and just start driving. We do this using a technique called chunking. Native speakers do not think about grammar rules when they speak. They do not think, okay, now I need a subject, now I need a verb, now I need a preposition. No, they use chunks. A chunk is a group of words that always stay together. They are like best friends. They never separate. When you learn a chunk, you do not learn 3 or 4 separate words. You learn one single sound. It is one block of English. Today, we are going to give you 5 essential pocket patterns, or chunks, that native speakers use every single day. We want you to stop translating these phrases word for word. Instead, we want you to memorize the sound of the whole block. If you do this, you will stop freezing and you will start flowing. Before we start with our first pattern, if you want to make sure you never miss a lesson that helps you speak more naturally, please take a second right now to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us create more lessons for you. All right, let's look at our first pattern. This is a pattern you use when you want to give your opinion, but you want to sound polite and sincere. The pattern is, to be honest with you. Let's listen to that again. To be honest with you. This is 5 words written down. To be honest with you. But native speakers do not say 5 words. They smash them together into one long sound. To be honest with you. It almost sounds like one long word.
Exactly. Imagine you're asked if you like a movie. If you translate word for word, you might say, I do not like it. That is okay, but it sounds a bit robotic. Instead, use the chunk. You can say, to be honest with you, I didn't like it. See how much smoother that sounds? It gives your brain a rest because you already have the first part of the sentence ready to go.
Let's practice this together. I want you to repeat after me. We will start slow, and then we will go at natural speed. Listen closely to the rhythm. To be honest with you. Now you try. Great. Now let's speed it up. To be honest with you. Excellent. Now let's put it in a full sentence. Imagine your friend asks if you are tired. You want to tell the truth. Repeat after me. To be honest with you, I am exhausted. Perfect. When you use this chunk, you are telling the listener that you are sharing your real feelings. It creates a nice connection. And the best part is, while you are saying to be honest with you, your brain has 2 extra seconds to think about the rest of the sentence. You are buying yourself time. That is a great tip, Mark. Buying time is so important when you are learning. Let's move to our second pattern. This is another one for giving opinions. Usually, learners say, I think all the time. I think it is good. I think it is cold. I think English is hard. There's nothing wrong with I think, but if you use it too much, it can sound repetitive. A great alternative chunk is I find that. This is a very sophisticated chunk. It makes you sound more experienced. It means you have noticed something from your own experience. For example, instead of saying, I think mornings are better for studying, you can say, I find that mornings are better for studying. Let's practice the sound. Again, do not separate the words. Connect the find and the that. I find that. Your turn. Very good. Notice that the D in find is very soft. You almost don't hear it. I find that. Let's try a full sentence. Imagine you are talking about learning English. Repeat after me. I find that listening is easier than speaking. That was wonderful. Do you see how easy it is when you treat the phrase as one block? You don't have to worry about grammar. You just take the block, I find that, and you put it in the sentence. Let's move on to our third pattern. This one is a lifesaver. It is for those moments in a conversation when silence happens. You know that awkward moment when a topic ends and nobody knows what to say? You can save the conversation with this chunk. That reminds me of. Oh, I love this one. It is the perfect bridge. You can use it to connect what someone just said to a story you want to tell. For example, maybe your friend is talking about eating pizza. You remember a pizza place you visited in Italy. You can interrupt politely and say, that reminds me of a trip I took to Italy. Exactly. It makes the conversation flow naturally. Let's look at the pronunciation. The words are that reminds me of, but when we speak, the of sounds more like of, or even just sometimes, and we connect it to me, that reminds me of. Let's practice. Listen to the rhythm. Da-da-da, da-da-da. That reminds me of. Your turn to say it. Good. Let's try it with a noun. Imagine someone talks about the rain. You think of your home country. Repeat after me. That reminds me of my hometown. And let's try one more. Imagine someone mentions a book. You remember a movie with a similar story. Repeat after me. That reminds me of a movie I saw. Perfect. You are doing a great job. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect immediately. The goal is to get used to the feeling of these words in your mouth. You need to build muscle memory, just like going to the gym. Our fourth pattern is very useful when you want to look at two sides of a problem. Maybe you are making a decision. You have one idea, but then you have a different idea. The chunk is, on the other hand. This is a classic. It signals to the listener that you are about to say something contrasting. For example, I want to go out tonight. On the other hand, I am very tired. It is much better than just saying but. It makes your English sound structured and intelligent. Let's break down the sound. On the other hand. Native speakers often connect the and other, so it sounds like the other, and the D at the end of hand is often silent, so it sounds like on the other hand. Let's try it. Repeat after me. On the other hand. Good. Now let's put it in a context. Imagine you are deciding whether to buy a car. It is expensive, but it is useful. Repeat after me. It is expensive, but on the other hand, it is very useful. One more time, a little faster. On the other hand, it is very useful. You are sounding very natural. These chunks are like magic keys that unlock fluency. When you use them, you stop sounding like a student and you start sounding like a speaker. We have one final pattern for you today, and this is perhaps the most important one for being polite. In many languages, if you want something, you just ask for it directly. You might say, give me the salt, or help me with this. In English, this can sound a little bit rude or too direct. We use a chunk to soften the request. The chunk is, I was wondering if. This is a big chunk, 5 syllables. I was wondering if, but it is incredibly powerful. It turns a command into a polite request. Instead of saying, can you help me, you say, I was wondering if you could help me. It also helps you with grammar. If you try to translate a polite question from your native language, you might get confused with the word order. Could you, would you, do you mind? It is complicated. But if you memorize, I was wondering if, you just stick it at the beginning of the sentence and you are safe. Let's practice the rhythm. It has a nice wave to it. I was wondering if. Notice that wondering usually sounds like 2 syllables, not 3. Wondering. I was wondering if. Your turn. Repeat after me. I was wondering if. Excellent. Now let's make a request. You are at a cafe. You want a glass of water. Repeat after me. I was wondering if I could have some water. Let's try a situation at work. You need to leave early. Repeat after me.
I was wondering if I could leave early today. Brilliant. By using that chunk, you sound professional and polite, and you did not have to think about complex grammar rules. You just used the block.
So, let's review the 5 pocket patterns we have put in your pocket today. Number 1, to be honest with you. Use this to share your true feelings. Number 2, I find that. Use this to give an opinion based on experience. Number 3, that reminds me of. Use this to bridge to a new topic or story. Number 4, on the other hand, use this to present a contrasting idea. Number 5, I was wondering if. Use this to make a polite request. Now here is the secret to making this work. Do not try to memorize all 5 of these perfectly today. That will just put you back in the translation trap. Instead, I want to give you a small challenge. We call it the 1 block challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to choose just one of these patterns. Just one. Maybe you choose to be honest with you, or maybe you choose I was wondering if. I want you to say this phrase out loud 5 times today. You can say it to a friend, you can say it to your cat, or you can just say it to yourself while you are making coffee. It does not matter if you are alone. The important thing is to physically say the words. Feel how they connect. Feel the rhythm. When you practice one chunk until it is automatic, you free up your brain space. You stop translating and you start speaking. And once you have mastered one, come back and pick another one. Slowly, you will build a library of these blocks, and one day soon you will find that you are not translating anymore. You are just talking. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Pocket English Podcast. We hope these patterns help you feel more confident and less frozen in your conversations. Remember, language learning is a journey, and you are doing great. If you enjoyed this lesson and want more easy patterns like this, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit the bell icon so you know when our next pocket-sized lesson is ready. Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and let your English grow. See you in the next episode.